Hello and welcome to this podcast. My name is Emma and this is the episode number 5. This is a knitting podcast, although I haven't been knitting so much lately. I've been doing a lot of other stuff, but not so much of knitting. I've been doing mainly ceramics. I took a whole week of holidays to do an intensive training course to learn how to use a potter's wheel, which was a lot of fun. I really loved it. I was a bit afraid that it would be too long and that I would get bored or get tired of it, but I didn't, and it was the opposite. It was a bit frustrating to know that I only had 1 week, and I would have loved to have another 2 or 3 days. And yeah, it was amazing, but it was really tiring, and so I didn't knit anything. I didn't touch my needles for this whole week because I was so tired. So in the morning I didn't have time to knit, and in the evening when I came back I couldn't touch my needles because I was too tired from my day doing ceramics. So yeah, and so it was really nice. And so since I didn't knit so much lately, I haven't been feeling like podcasting, but last week I realized that I had quite a few projects to show you, so I thought now's the time to film a new episode. I have 4 finished objects and 2 works in progress, so that's new for me to have that many finished objects. So let's begin. The first finished object was a work in progress. Last time I filmed an episode, and it's that Sveaborg pullover. Let me close the zipper and show it to you like this. So it's an all-over cable pullover with, it's not a turtleneck sweater, but it comes quite high up. I did sew the zipper on, but I didn't finish. I just sewed the first thread, like a thin thread, just to put it into place, and then I was going to sew it better with the wool, and I didn't do it, but I wore it a lot, so it started to come off like here. So yeah, I have to sew it better, and I left it aside a bit because now it's getting much warmer, so I'm not wearing it anymore. So I should be doing it, and yeah, I think I'm gonna do it right after the podcast. So I'm sure I can wear it again. So yeah, it's a big sweater with as I said, cables all over on the sleeves, and the front and the back too, and it's a pattern from Sarinalbund, and yeah, I talked a lot about it last time, I think. So if you want to watch the last episode, I've talked a lot about it, and I've also talked about the wool that I used. It's a woolly knit cone. I've got it here, so I'm looking at it. It's 100% pure new wool. It's not what I wanted to see. I don't know what else it's. Yeah, I do have the label, so I'm gonna get it. So here it is. It doesn't say much on it. Sorry, no, on the right side. It's a fingering weight yarn, which I held double because the pattern is written for a dicky yarn, and actually it's more of a light fingering weight yarn, but it blooms quite well after blocking. So I thought it was okay. I did some swatches and it was perfect. So I really liked the fabric that it made at the end. Show it to you a bit closer for you to see the cables. So there's this front panel and then symmetrical cables on the side, and it's exactly the same at the back. I really loved knitting it, and I was in the last episode I was saying that I was a bit afraid of the wool because I thought it might be a bit itchy, but after blocking it's completely okay, and I'm really fine wearing it, and also around my neck there's no problem at all, so that's perfect. And it's really warm, it's really comfy, and I might add a short video so you can see me wearing it, so you can see the fit. And yeah, I don't think I have much more to say. Also, yeah, I'm because I finished it quite a long time ago, so I couldn't remember everything that I wanted to say about it. But yeah, I do remember that when I was sewing the zipper on, in the pattern it just says sew the zipper, and I had no clue how to do it, and it was the first time that I had to sew a zipper on, and I didn't know if, I don't know, I looked on YouTube to find some tutorials, which was fine, but then I would have expected to have at least a link in the pattern telling us which video to look. Maybe not the designer to make a whole video on how to sew a zipper, but just another video, like a link, so we know that this one is good and we can watch it, and so we can learn how to do it, because like this it was a bit hard for me, and so it took me a bit of time, and that's also why I only did the first sewing with a small thread, and because it took me already so much time to do all this, to put the zipper on at the right place, try it again and move it, and so at the end I was just a bit tired of it, and so I thought, okay, I can wear it like this. It seems to hold on well, and so I'll see. Well, it didn't, but yeah, I got a lot of wear out of it already, so I'm fine with it, and I just have to sew it a bit better. But yeah, I didn't think the pattern was really, well, it wasn't helping at all for that part, which is quite special. I mean, it's not like casting on or off some stitches. It's not something basic. It's something a bit more advanced on the knitting part. So yeah, but apart from that, the pattern was really well written. It was easy to follow, and yeah, I don't recommend it for beginners. I think I already said it, but it's not an easy pattern, I think, with the construction. But if you've already knitted some jumpers or some garments, and you understand what you're knitting, I think it's okay. So yeah, I think that's it for this one. It's really squishy. I'm not touching the part that's around the neck because it's folded double. So yeah, it was really warm. It was really perfect for the end of the winter. The wool is peeling quite a bit, so I would have, I think, to do something about it. But I'll see if it's just at the beginning, or if it keeps peeling. If it keeps peeling, yeah. So yeah, that's it for this one. you have all the details of the yarn I used and the yardage and everything on my Ravelry page. I'll always put the notes down below, so you have all the information if you want to knit it or just to have some information about it. I realized I didn't talk about what I was wearing. So this is the pullover sweater, which is a pattern from Loli Lafay, who's a French designer, and it's knit with Sturi alpaca, which was the first and only time that I've used it for a project. I can show it to you a bit closer. It does. And yeah, this I'm never, well, I don't wear it a lot. It's a really light garment, although it's quite warm, but not as warm as some other garments, I'd say. So maybe that's why I don't wear it so much. Maybe it's because it's green. I don't know. I think I don't wear a lot of colors for my jumpers, and so I'm not sure why I don't wear it that much. And also I always feel like it's so light, and I always feel like it's gonna not break, but I don't know. So yeah, I'll see. Maybe with the spring I'm gonna wear it a bit more. Yeah, but I quite like it. It's really soft, although I hated knitting with Sturi alpaca. It's not really nice, I think, and if you make a mistake, I think it's really hard to like unravel it. Anyway, so yeah, this is what I'm wearing. The second finished object that I have is a vest. I'm looking at the right side. This is a small vest which I made for my little boy, and I'm looking at the notes. It's the Woodland Waistcoat by Sandra from Agasalos y Bugalos, and it's the chunky version. So, as the name says it calls for a chunky yarn, and I showed it to you last time. I had some yarn that my sister offered me, and this was some lamb's wool from her sheeps, and so I really wanted to use it, but I didn't have, I think I had 100 grams, I'm not sure, maybe a bit more, I can't remember, but I really didn't have a lot, and so I didn't really know what to do with it, and she gave me the idea of making a vest for my little boy, and I really liked that idea for different reasons, because, well, I knew I would have enough yarn, although I wasn't quite sure while I was knitting it that I would have enough. I was a bit scared of it, but I did have enough. And also because he would wear it for a longer time than a jumper or something else. And I didn't want to make a hat because it would be too itchy for him, or for me, I guess too. Even though it's lamb's wool, it's still a wool that's not really soft. It's a rustic yarn. She has really rustic sheeps. And so It's a lot softer than the wool from her sheep, but it's still rustic. And so a vest, it would be, I think it was perfect because he could wear it over some of the layers. And so yeah, and I really liked knitting this pattern. It's really easy. This is the back. So yeah, you can see it. I started from the back until here, and then I did the front, one front. I did the right front. You can see with the colors, you can follow it. I did the right front until the end of the armholes, well, the underarm, and then I did the other front, and then joined in the round. That's why you have this line here and a big change of color here, because this was really the beginning of the skein, and this was like after half of it. And it's supposed to have an I-cord and a button. It gives two choices for the closing. To close it, it's I think it's either an I-cord and a button, or just maybe a buttonhole. I can't remember, because I wanted to do the I-cord, but then I realized that he's never really wearing anything that's open. He keeps trying to take it off when it's a bit loose at the front, and if it's not closed, he will take it off. So I thought that I would need to put buttons all the way down, like maybe 3 or 4 buttons. So I haven't done that yet. I haven't taken the time. I wasn't sure because I didn't know how to put the buttonholes now that it was already finished. So I don't know. I've never done that before. So if you have any tips, I would love to to hear them, because I'm not sure how to put buttonholes on something that's already knit, and yeah, and it's in Gala stitch. So yeah, but it's a really nice project, because it's really easy to make. It's really fast, and I really loved having a quick project, especially after the Sveaborg pullover, because it was so long. It was quite a big project, and I loved it, but I really liked having something a bit easier after that. And I did some swatches. I wasn't sure that the wool would be the right one. It seemed, it didn't seem as thick as the one that was recommended, but my sister hand spinned it, so I didn't know what size it was. So I made different swatches with different needle sizes, and it was the perfect gauge for this pattern. So it was really, really nice, because it was exactly what I had in mind for this vest. And it's really nice because he's gonna be, I made it just a tiny bit longer than what the pattern recommends it, and I wanted him to be able to wear it through the spring, the summer, and also autumn, and maybe a bit later. I'm not sure how long he's going to be able to wear it, but I think it's going to be at least a whole year, because it's a vest, it's not a sweater. So yeah, and yeah, I think that's it for this project. I don't know what else to say about it. I think that's it. Also, in the last episode, I showed you my socks. I think I talked a lot about them because I had finished the first one. I'm not sure. I'm gonna show them because they're finished. So those are my tabby toes socks with the heel and the toes. And as you can see, there's still some yarn that I haven't weaved in because I've worn them once, I think, and they're too tight. I don't know what I did with them. Maybe I can show you. I don't know if I used the same amount of stitches that I use, so 56, and that's what I usually do for my socks. And then for the toes, I think I didn't divide correctly the stitches for the toes and the big toe, like in the middle, because it's just a bit too tight for the big toe. And also, I think I didn't knit them long enough, and not as high as I would have hoped. But they're still quite nice to wear. But still, the close up on my foot and the heel, which is an afterthought heel, and I have to say it's not my favorite heel. I think it's nice to have the option to remake the heel if it's worn out, if it's if there's a hole in it or something. But yeah, I think I really enjoy more the heel flap and gussets. The only thing is it's really easy to knit and a lot easier than the heel flap and gusset because you don't have to pick up stitches and faster. But I don't like it so much. And I don't know, I was afraid I would run out of yarn, so I didn't make them quite high enough on the leg, and I would have liked them a bit longer for those ones. But well, and that's also why I took another color for the heel, because I wanted to have exactly the right, to be able to knit them longer on the leg. But yeah, so that's kind of a failed project. I'm not so happy about them. Also, I think I haven't been wearing them because it's getting a lot warmer, and that my other either I'm barefoot in the house, or I can wear my other socks. I don't know. It's not really comfortable to have the big toe really tighten into the sock. So yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do about them. Maybe I can wear them. I don't know. Maybe I can wear them a few times and see if they loosen a bit. I'm not sure. I haven't blocked them either, so maybe that will help. But I don't know what I did with the second one. I don't know. I'll see. But yeah, those are my tabby toes socks. And I think I'll make a second pair, and maybe I'll try to add more stitches, have a longer foot, and so the stitches that I will add are gonna go to the big toe. Because for the rest of the toes it was okay. It's not too tight, so I think with just a few extra stitches for the big toe, it will be good. Yeah. And then after that, I wanted to find a project for the yarn that my sister got me for my birthday, Christmas, or anything, I don't know. and yeah, it was. I'm gonna show it to you. It was the skein of alpaca, 100% alpaca, which I really loved. Yeah. And it's a DK weight yarn. Well, I did some swatches, and yeah, it seemed a bit thicker than a fingering weight yarn, and yeah, I think it's a DK weight yarn. And so I don't think I have the label with me. But anyway, it's really local because it's one of her neighbor friend who lives not far away from her, and who has 2 alpacas and 2 sheep, and so she makes some yarn. And so yeah, it's really soft. It's like one of the softest yarn that I ever touched. I only had 1 skein, so 100 gram. I didn't know what I wanted to do with it. I don't really wear beanies. I'm always on my bike, so I have a helmet, and so I'm not carrying a beanie with me. And so I thought that I wouldn't get so much wear out of it if I made a beanie. And so that's why I wanted to make a scarf with it, because I think this yarn was supposed to be worn like right next to the skin, and I didn't want to use it just in another project, just a part of a project. I didn't want to knit mittens with it. So yeah, a scarf was the perfect project, and I didn't really know what to do because I didn't want something with lace or with cables. I wanted something really simple, and I kept looking, and I got tired of looking for a pattern. I really didn't want to, I don't know, to keep looking, and I wasn't sure what I wanted to make. And then I wanted something easy, something quick and easy. And so I thought, well, I know that the Sophie scarf from Petit Knit would be okay. It's simple enough, and yeah, it's the one that popped into my mind because I saw so many projects, and at first I didn't want to do something like this easy, and I don't know. But anyway, here it is. So this is the scarf. So yeah, a really basic one, and I'm wearing it all the time, but really all the time. So I can show it to you. Maybe I can make another video too to show you, but I'm just wearing it like this and making small knots. Yeah, and yeah, like this. And it's just perfect because it's warm enough, because it's around the neck, but then it's not too warm and it's not too big, because most of the time with a scarf it's really big, and I don't know, it keeps falling down and opens, but this one is just the right size, I think. What I did was that I kept increasing until I felt that it was long enough to be wearing it like this, because I wanted it to be like the perfect length for me. So yeah, that's what I did. I didn't have any problem with the pattern, although I think at one point I forgot to make an increase, so I did it like 2 rows after, which we can't see, so I don't mind. It's getting, yeah, I have to wash it, I think. I've worn it so much. Yeah. So anyway, I didn't make a project on Ravelry for that. because, well, it's just a simple project, and yeah, I didn't want to take the time for that. And also I used up a bit more than half of the skein, so I think I've used like 57 grams, and I still have 43, I think. And yeah, so I wasn't sure what I would be doing with the rest of the skein. I was thinking maybe about doing a second one, and then when my mom saw this one, she told me she's knitting some scarves, but like bigger ones with lace and with cables and mosaic. So it's really nice. But when she saw this one, she said, "Okay, I want an easy project like this too. I want exactly the same." So I was thinking about giving her the rest of this yarn. So it would be really nice. I mean, it's from my big sister, and both her mom and her sister would be knitting something and wearing something with this special yarn. So I thought it would be nice. And except that her scarf would be just a bit smaller. Or maybe she could use another yarn for like just the beginning and the end. So she still has a scarf that's long enough to be able to wear it correctly around the neck and make a knot. And I'm looking at my stash, and I think I do have some other yarn. I have some alpaca yarn, 100% alpaca, that's white, cream, more cream than white. And maybe that would be perfect just for the end of the two ends, because it's in the knot, so she doesn't have it. Yeah, I think it's a good option. So she's able to knit exactly the same with the same length. Yeah. And I've worn it so much because I can wear it like when I'm a little bit cold, when I'm on my bike too. Because I'm always a bit cold around the neck, like I have the wind coming and I have to have something around my neck, and this is just perfect. I can close my jacket and still wear it. So yeah, I'm really happy about it, because every time I wear it I think about my sister, and it's not itchy at all. It's really soft and it's really squishy, warm. I think it was really the perfect project for this yarn, and to have as much use as I can out of it, and really for a long time, because I won't get tired of it. And especially with this color, I can wear it with everything. So yeah, I really loved it. I'm really happy about it. So that was my my last finished object. Yes. So that was it for my finished objects, and now I have two works in progress that I want to show you. So those are two new works in progress. The first one is the September vest from Petit. Trying to get it out. So I have my basket in which I keep the yarn in, and then the project, so I can carry it around the house. So it's a vest knitted in brioche stitch, and I'm going to, oops, I'm losing some stitches. I'm just picking them up, and this is the back, so you have the front here. Let's see. So this is it. We start with the back, doing some increases for the shoulders, and then some increases for the underarm. Yeah. Then we put the stitches on hold, and then we knit the front, the left or the right, whatever, and then we knit in half, doing increases for the neck, and then we put the stitches on hold around here. Then we knit the other side, and then we join the two fronts. We knit back and forth, then we do the increases on both sides for the underarm, and then we join in the round with the back. And we pick up some stitches for the collar, which is folded double, and we pick up some stitches for the arms, like this, which is done in ribbing, and it was a bit too high. And yeah, that's it. And I already did the collar and the ribbing for the arms because it is for my mom, and so I wanted her to be able to try it on. I see her in a week, and so I wanted her to be able to try it on and see if it fits. And so I thought it would be easier to see the length that she wants, if there's already the color, and if, I don't know, the size fits her. So yeah, I'm quite happy about it. I really love it. I was thinking that I would make, well, when I first started the project, I thought that I would be knitting a second one for myself, but I'm not quite sure now. It's really, really long to knit with brioche stitch. I mean, it's mindless knitting because it's always the same and it's really easy to knit. I haven't done any errors, so I'm not sure if I want to rip it back and modify something because I made an error. I'm not sure if it would be easy or not. But yeah, it's quite easy to follow. We know it's easier back and forth because we only have knit stitches, and when we knit in the round we also have purl stitches, a bit like in corner stitch, because, well, brioche stitch we slip one with a yarn over, and then we purl or knit the stitches that we had done before, and then we keep repeating that. So we always have, in one row we have knit stitches and slip stitches, and in the next row we have slip stitches and purl stitches. But I don't mind, it's really easy to see. I mean, if you know how to recognize purl and knit stitches, then brioche is easy. It just takes a lot of time to knit. So yeah, I really liked it, and also making the collar and the side ribbings made it look like I was one step further, and so yeah, it was, for my motivation, it was good. For the yarn that I'm using, I'm holding two yarns together, so one fingering white yarn and a silk mohair. So for the yarn choice, it was really hard. It took us a lot of time. So my mom wanted a vest, so we took a bit of time looking at the patterns and seeing which one she liked the best, and it was this one. So what she liked about it was that it looked like it was squishy, that it was that it was squishy, and I thought, well, that's the look of a brioche stitch, but still I think the yarn wasn't it for something too. And at first I wanted to use the Isager, I don't know how to pronounce it, the silk mohair. I wanted to find a silk mohair that wouldn't be itchy, and especially since this is coming around the neck, I didn't, well, not really higher, but still it's a part where the skin is quite sensitive, so I wanted something quite soft, but I couldn't find any color that was nice and that was like we imagined, well, like my mom imagined, because she told me she wanted a brown, but that was luminous. So I thought, okay, for the brown, and for luminous, I thought, well, the silk and the silk mohair will make it luminous, but it still needs to be not too much like a rust color, or not too much like, not too dark. And we kept looking, and I also looked at the colors in the silk mohair from Knitting for Olive, and none of them were right. I kept looking at the different yarns that I could find, and I couldn't find any that where the colors were there was one color that would be the right one. So I looked at Halls yarn, and I found the right colors, and I wanted to use one strand of I can't remember the names of the yarns, but the one with one strand of alpaca, which would be used instead of the silk mohair, and one strand of fingering white yarn, maybe the super soft, I'm not sure, I think so. And I really found the right colors for her, and she told me that she really liked the colors, but then I thought about it again, and she really told me that it was the squishy part that she really liked too. And so I thought, well, with the super soft, it's two-plied, and so it's a bit flat. I don't really know how to explain it, but it's not like really bouncy and really round. And so I thought that it wouldn't look as squishy as what she imagined if I used this yarn. So I looked again, and I found this yarn from Wool Dreamers, which is unspun. It's Manchelopi from Wool Dreamers. It comes in plates. So it's exactly like Plotolopi or knitted in yarn or like unspun yarns. And this one, it's a bit particular because it comes with two strands already together in the plate. So if we want to knit it directly with both, it's a dicky weight yarn, otherwise it can be used as a fingering weight yarn. So for this project I needed to have it as a fingering weight yarn, that's why I have a ball. So I separated the two strands of yarn. And so with this color, this was perfect. And with this color, the only one that was good was Drops Silk Mohair. So I know it can be a bit itchy for some people. Not for me, not at all. I'm just hoping it will be alright for my mom. She told me she was getting a bit more sensitive than she was before, so I hope it's gonna be okay. That's also why I wanted something really soft, because I'm okay, I'm not sensitive with mohair, but if it's for someone else, I want to be sure that this person's gonna be able to wear what I make. And so I didn't want to spend so many hours knitting a jumper for her and that she wouldn't be able to wear because it's too itchy for her. So that was kind of hard for me to choose, but I also wanted her to have the right color, the one that she had in mind. And she really told me that this was perfect, and I swatched with it, and it was really nice. And that's really what she had in mind, and I really think that it makes it like something, a luminous brown. I mean, the mantelope is quite dark, but with the silk mohair, it makes it a lot more luminous. And I think it's exactly the same as the pant cardigan that I made. I talked about it on the episode 2 or 3, maybe the first one. I can't remember, sorry. But I'll put a link to it if you want to look at it. But I used a black fingering white yarn, and the silk mohair was grey, like dark grey, and so it made it look a lot more luminous than if I had used some black silk mohair. So that's what I tried here, and I think it's really nice. So yeah, now I'm only going in the round to make the body, and that's gonna be it. And I'm making a size M. Yeah, that was the first time also that I was knitting with unspun yarn, and I have to say it's not the best for me. It's not what I prefer. When I knit, I really pull on the yarn and just to get it out of the bowl, and I'm really not, how do I say that? Like, I'm not really careful. And so I have to be careful with this yarn, otherwise it breaks. And that's actually what happened here. I was taking my basket with it, and I just didn't see that the ball was out of the basket, and it had rolled on the floor, and I was just taking the basket and leaving, and it just broke. And I can't see where the end is. Yeah, this is the, well, anyway, it's a bit of a mess here because it was in the basket, but it's really easy to put it back together. You know, you just put the two ends together in your hands, put the two strands together like this and here, and rub them together, and you have, like, again, a strand of yarn that's just one, and you don't have to make a knot. So it's okay, but it's not like the best for me to knit with. Although it's quite, I like the finished result. It's really soft, I really like it. I can't compare it to other unspun yarn because I haven't knitted with Plutulopi or any other one. I do have one plate of Plutulopi, but I've never knit with it, and so I don't know. But this one is quite soft, and I think it's quite nice to wear. So about the yarn, I needed, what was written in the pattern was that I would need 2 plates of this yarn, and I used, like, I separated the 2 strands, so I'm only using one to knit with, and so with the first ball of silk mohair, I arrived right under the arm, and I did a whole round with the yarn, and then I ran out of it, but I still had some of the mantelope, I ran out of this one. So here I put a stitch marker here. Can't see anything. Sorry. But yeah, so at the top of the stitch marker, if you can see it. Yeah. And so after that I started with the second bowl, which is this one, and I did the collar, I did the side, the arms, the ribbing for the arms, and continued down for the body. And I still have this with the second bowl, so I think I'm going to need the second plate, but I'm not gonna need more than 2 plates. And yeah, I can knit a lot with 1 plate of manchelope. So yeah, I think this is it for this project. And also, so I bought 2 extra plates because I liked the color and I thought that I would be able to knit something else, and I really don't like to play yarn chicken, so I could sit with the vest that I knitted for my little boy. I really hated not knowing if I would have enough yarn or not, and especially with this yarn, with this one, because I knew that my sister wouldn't be able to make some other yarn like this for quite a while, so I really was hoping that I would have enough, but still, I don't like not knowing if I will have enough. So I wanted to buy an extra plate, and then I thought, well, what will I do with just 1 extra plate? So I bought 2 of them, and I think I will have 2.5. So maybe I can knit a whole jumper out of them. I'll see. And at the same time, I also bought some other plates of manchelope, which I have right here. And this is just another color. It's exactly the same with the 2 strands, and it's light gray, I think, the color, but I'm not sure. I read it down below as well for the brown one. I think it's dark brown, but I'm not really sure. And I bought this one to knit the Miles shirt jacket from Ozeta, and she uses this yarn, and I really liked the look of it. So I thought that I would knit it with the same yarn, and she holds the yarn double, so just like she uses the plate as it is with the 2 strands. And yeah, so I'm gonna do that. I'll just finish the vest before I start this one, because this is such another big project, so I want to have finished the other one before. I kind of jumped into yarn acquisition before finishing the works in progress, but I wanted to show you since it was the same yarn. The next project that I have is another jumper, and it's not a new project, because I started it a few years ago, but I put it aside because it didn't, well, things weren't going well with it. I'm going to show it to you. This is the sumac pullover from Orlan Sush, whose designer name is Tête Bêche. She's a French designer, yeah. And this is what it looks like. And it's way too big. I absolutely love it, really, but it's way too big. You can't see it on myself. The one that I'm wearing already has quite a lot of positive ease, well, quite a lot for me, and this one is a lot bigger, you see. So yeah, and that's why I didn't continue it, because I knew, well, I saw that it was too big, and so I didn't really know what to do with it. And then I got pregnant, so I knew my body would change, my body measurements would change, and I didn't know if my body would go back the way it was before my pregnancy. So I thought, well, there's I should wait until the end of my pregnancy to start knitting it again, and to have my body like kind of stabilize, and which is now. And so I thought, well, let's pick it up again. And I don't know if it was my gauge that was off, or I don't know what went wrong, or the yarn that I chose, but I still really do love the pattern. I really love this jumper, so I want to continue it. I just wanted to show it to you before I unravel it and start it again. And yeah, so I still wanted to show you the yarn too that I used, and it's a yarn. This is the yarn, and it's a yarn that I bought on the island, on Wesson Island, which is a small island, really small island in Britain, in France. And there was this lady there who was hand spinning the yarn, and so I bought it. So I bought her some yarn, and this is the yarn. I bought 6 skeins because I didn't know what I wanted to do with it, so I would have enough to make a jumper or whatever I wanted to make. And I started knitting with this like cream color, which is the natural color, and then I don't know, it became a bit yellow, or it wasn't like a cream color, and I knew I wouldn't wear it like this, so I frogged it and dyed the yarn. So I wanted like kind of a beige brown color, so that's why I went with walnut stain to dye it, and I really like the color. The thing is, I dyed it, I really looked through natural dyes and how to make it, etc. And I found the percentage of weight of the natural dye that we had to put in compared to the water, or compared to the yarn weight. I can't even remember. I think the yarn weight, and that we wanted to dye. And I didn't write down anything because I thought, well, I remember, I'm not going to make it so much later, because I only dyed 2 skeins, because I wasn't sure of what it would look like. So I wasn't sure I would like the color, so I thought, I'll only dye 2 skeins and then I'll do the rest of them if I need some more. Also because I didn't know how much yarn I would need for this project. Which wasn't a great idea because I really don't want to alternate the skeins. So I don't know. I don't really know what I'm going to do. I do have 2 skeins like this that's already been dyed, and so I'll see. But I do have to make a new swatch, see how it looks like. And also because it was hand spun, I didn't have any I don't really know which size it is, and so I made a lot of different swatches to know which fabric I liked the most, and that's kind of how I came to this pattern, because I was looking for this kind of pattern, but with the gauge that I had and that I liked. So yeah, and yeah, now that I look at it, I really love this jumper, so I really do have to get back to it. And that's it for this jumper, and that's it for the works in progress. And I also wanted to show you another yarn that I bought at the same time as the Manchelope. So Manchelope is a Portuguese breed, and so it's a Portuguese yarn, and so this one is also a Portuguese yarn. So this is Brusca from Retrosaria Pomar. I don't know if you can see well. But it's quite a rustic yarn. It's quite dry, like it feels quite dry, just touching it like this. So I'll see when I knit with it. It's still in the neutral tones, like brown, beige, but I really like it. And it's a DK weight yarn, and I had a pattern in mind when I bought it, but I can't remember what. But anyway, I know that my next jumper I wanted to be with a DK yarn because I wanted to be a bit warmer than all the jumpers that I could make with fingering white yarn. So yeah, that's way in the future because, well, I have other projects on my needle and on my mind. But yeah, I still wanted to show you this yarn. So that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this episode and I see you next time. Bye!